I like this admin we've got because when he asks them if they want pick or side, well, when like one team chooses, he asks them if they want like if they have second choice. Like he says, do you want? I don't remember how he words, but instead of saying like second pick, he says two picks because it sounds a lot more appealing to have two picks than second pick. Because if you have second pick, it's like ah. So like if the first team who wins the coin toss says we want Radiant or Die, the other team has choice of pick, which he doesn't say first or second pick. It's...
All right. So admins, if you want to step up your game, you've heard
it makes it more
gods.
appealing, you know. It's like, ooh, I get two picks. That's appealing. You get second pick, nah, that ain't worth it.
Okay. Let's see if it pays off here. So with their first pick, they will select the Ember. Now Stark with the double pick.
Yep.
Coming out. The twofer. What do they want?
It's the only stage of the draft where you get to pick two heroes at the same time.
That's true. It used to be there were two stages, but that is no longer the case.
They used to not even be the middle stage. That's gone way back, I guess. You would just go 1 2 2 2 1. Damn. How times have changed.
That was 2, 3 years, probably 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or more.
TI2 had it that way. TI2 didn't have I think it was TI3 was the first TI that had a middle band stage.
So yeah, I guess at that point,
TI2...
3.5 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that.
Sometime between TI2 and TI3 was when the change happened.
Okay. Well, gonna start things off here with the old Undi. And Tuskar is still in the pool. Broodmother also available.
Yeah. I'm personally of the opinion Tusk is the best offlaner. Him and Doxy are the two best offlaners in the current patch, even with the Tusk nerfs. But
I'll start going for something totally different. They want some control for the Ember. They're gonna grab the silencer, and well, you know, I mentioned there's a Brood Mama out there, and Empire see your silencer undying and see nothing to counter a Brood, and just happily gobble up the Mama.
As good as the two picks is, having first pick means you get last pick into the ban state, so you can pick Brood and then ban the counters. You can't really pick Brood when you have the two picks because Empire can second pick Axe or a counter at least.
Or whatever they think counters. Yeah. Stat Rider, Sand King, Spirit Breaker.
It's crazy because it feels like even when you get the Brood counters, the Brood still does well. That's why I think teams are realizing at ESL 1, it's just like, whoa, we can actually prepare and try and counter it. Outside of, I think Darkseer seems to be the hero that fits almost any draft that you can just lane against a Brood and do well in general. And Axe is another hero that actually crushes a Brood so hard that it doesn't matter that you picked an Axe. But outside of those two heroes, it feels like if you're forced to pick a Legion to deal with a Brood, it's not really a good result. Same for some of the other pseudo counters like the Sand King. But yeah, I think Axe and Darkseer are definitely by far the tier 1 heroes to have against the Brood. Outside of that, you're like, well, it's kind of hurting our own draft maybe, picking up these heroes.
No, it will be Legion removed, so Empire are trying to be cautious. Also, you've got the duel into Global, which could be scary for the Ember, so perhaps killing two birds with one stone with that particular ban.
And Silencer's a support really bad against Brood.
Probably like bottom 5 worst supports in the game versus Brood, honestly.
Yes.
He's just garbage versus her.
Doesn't have anything of use.
just useless.
And you can, I guess, throw a curse and run away and rinse repeat a little bit, but I don't know. You can't zone it. Very much you want supports that can zone Brood out at level 1, or at least kind of hold their ground and fight a little bit.
Start throwing some glaives at the old spider lady. I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
Debatable.
Maybe Stark even change things up here. Run that silencer in like a mid roll so they can get something else to support.
Yep.
We'll see.
Dazzle
now the ban out by Stark.
I don't like the Gyro ban. I think the few times I've seen Gyro with Brood, the Gyro's really struggled because it's one of those heroes where you want to group up and fight, especially TPing to your off lane. And Brood just wants to be left alone to solo push lanes and create space for the team. Gyro doesn't need space. He's the one who just goes and fights as soon as he's got level. So I feel like the Gyro doesn't synergize well with Brood drafts. Something I've seen a few times. I know in Winter also commented on. It's like, yeah, these two heroes just seem to do quite poorly together. So I don't think it's a hero Stark need to ban. I think they're just looking at it like, well, it's a really strong laning hero and good against the Undying. But they maybe don't think about how it would have fit into Empire's draft in terms of the overall big picture.
Pick number 3 from Stark. What do they want? They started off kind of odd with the Undying Silencer. Definitely not a common opening nowadays, and still yet to have a single stun. Or, well, any slow outside of the zombies, I guess.
I think a Spirit Breaker or like an Earthshaker, as far as stuns go, both good. Spirit Breaker good at charging the Brood around a little bit. You can charge on in and you've got the global silence to back you up. And we'll have to see. They still,
It still feels like they're already kind of in a corner. No matter what they do this draft because of this opening.
What are you going to do against the Brood? Are you going to have a hero that can solo at 1v1? Are you going to pick a support duo that can just zone it out from level 1? Are you going to have a solo support try and trade hits and zone it while your other support roams around a bit? SF picked up to kind of hide what they're going to do, or maybe they just don't have an answer and they're like, let's just pick some other heroes, and it's one of those things where it's like, we'll leave the problem to later. Let's just procrastinate dealing with the Brood and pick the other heroes we want for our draft.
Maybe it is a little procrastination.
And SF is picked for now, so doesn't reveal too much. Radiant SF especially strong, and it's a good pick overall.
As for Empire, still yet to show us support here. We saw the Disruptor last game was very effective,
and against
but not really the same type of game.
Yeah, does it? About to say Dazzle would have been good, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Dazzle banned. And
what else is there? There's Lina, there's Rubik.
Rubik sounds solid.
We've seen... Empire used to be a team that liked the Ancient Apparition a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, when you said Rubik, I was like, Rubik AA, let's get that duo going once more. That just crushes lanes, and it means if there is a tri-lane versus tri-lane because Stark try and 1v1 the Brood, that tri-lane versus tri-lane is not going to go well for Stark. So we'll see. I think SF also limits Ember's ability to go mid since it's not a great matchup for Ember.
I like the Lina pick here because you don't really know for sure. It could be the Ember mid with support. It could just be the Lina there.
Yeah.
Still leaving things a bit uncertain, which is not what Stark want going into pick number 4 with no Brood counters in sight.
I guess they just ignore the fact that Lina was picked in the sense, like, you say it could be a support or a mid, but I don't know how much, like, it definitely can affect what they pick here, but I think they just have to take the approach, forget Lina's picked, and don't overthink whether it's a support or mid. It doesn't affect our pick whether Lina's a support or mid.
We still got a Brood problem, folks.
They've still got a Brood problem, and they just need to pick something that's going to augment their draft. It's very much, I remember seeing one of Puppy's post-game interviews, and it's like, you can't, if you're not sure what to pick, you don't pick to counter your opponents, like, oh, let's pick this to counter that. You very much just pick to craft together a strategy and a well-rounded draft of your own. If you're focusing too much on countering what your opponents are doing, you're just going to draft yourself into a corner.
You'll have no direction, just a mishmash, some slip-slop of garbage. You know, you gotta have an identity to your team.
So, Centaur. Oh, that's a safe lane slider by the looks of things.
All right, so it is the support Lina. Well, I guess
who knows?
Yeah, it kind of has to be.
Yeah, it has to be a support Lina.
Support Slardar. Ew.
It's just where these other heroes are going. Ember, not amazing mid against the Shadow Fiend, but we could see something like a Brood go mid if they wanted to do Slardar off lane, which has become quite popular, and Ember safe lane. Similarly, Ember not going to do amazingly well against the Undying lane, so I feel like the safest way is just to send Ember mid. He doesn't do great against SF, but he'll still get his levels there. Slardar safe lane, Brood in the off lane causing problems. Centaur not a hero who can 1v1 and Brood. I'm 90% sure.
And the physical damage for Empire gets pretty absurd now. You've got the plus damage of Insatiable Hunger to go along with that, the amplify damage, and your Ember Spirit, who can also really dish it out in the late game. So, Empire,
5 seconds remaining.
As long as they don't get run over here in the lanes, gods, they can always look to take the slate.
Yep. Oh, their late game
That's
is
scary. You're up against
scarier.
Brood. There's no real natural counters. They probably have better late game on the side of Empire. They're also dire, so they have the Roche advantage. What is this 5th pick from Stark that's going to tie it all together, make sense of the senseless?
They want a support that can zone a Brood. That's where Witch Doctor gets banned. It looks like it's going to be a safe lane Centaur from Stark and Undying in the off. I don't know for sure. I guess Centaur can offlane Undying support, but I feel Undying Silencer is not a great support duo. You've got no stuns, no slows between the two. That's just like a do-nothing support duo outside of the lane. And
I think you're being generous when you say not a great support duo versus the Brood. It's a garbage support duo versus the Brood.
It's trash.
Let's be real.
You can't...
In some games could be alright, but this is not the game.
To me, the way I see Stark's lineup working is running the Centaur safe lane against the Brood, but not 1v1. He needs support. Silencer alone is not going to cut it. You need another strong range support. Disruptor comes to mind as maybe one of the better options. A CM is kind of shitty.
Ah, that's a hero that does okay against Brood. We've seen it from Secret before.
Yeah. Especially with the Death Pulse got buffed heavily at level 1 and level... I think level 4 Death Pulse is the same damage, but level 1 and 2 And even 3 got a small buff, but level 1 went from like 75 to 125 damage, so...
It was such a useless spell level 1. Now it's still kind of situational, but...
Yeah.
A very heavy mana cost, even now.
So, Centaur is going to be offlane, I guess, so with Necrophos safe lane with support. Necro needs support. I think it's dual lane. Silence and Necro, and they're going to try bully the Brood out of lane early on with sentries, and then just hope that offlane and the mid do well.
If they lose this lane and that tower falls...
Game over.
I think it's game over, right?
Yeah.
Because Shadowfee needs the jungle. He's going to lose the jungle if that tower drops. Centaur won't be able to gank him for a while. Even if he has an okay time in the offlane, still has to farm the blink. And then you lose your jungle, they roll onto mid, they take Roche. This is looking like Stark have to play a perfect game in the safe lane from the word go.
And how do you even stop Brood getting levels? You've not got a single initiation spell. Your only stun is a hoof stomp, which is probably Centaur going to the offlane, and even that's a melee stun, so until Centaur has a blink, you've got no way to initiate on Brood. You haven't got even a slow to initiate with. Silence and Necrophos, it's like, what do you do? I guess last word, if you don't cast a spell, you get the slow, but if you get last word, you just back off and make sure
even
you're
if they
safe.
handle the Brood, Necrophos is a very low armor, fairly underwhelming strength hero. And the strength gain's okay, his base strength not that great. It's up against a Slardar and heavy physical damage. He's going to need a lot of farm to be relevant later on, so...
Empire's draft looks just way better right now.
We have seen games where, we felt that way, and the teams just outplay each other, so we're not going to count Stark out just yet, but this looks like it has the potential to be a quick 2-0.
Yeah. I like the Necro pick if they just had a different supporting cast. If they had like a...
Yeah, the Necro pick doesn't seem like the problem.
If they had a Witch Doctor, I guess it's more like if they had a Witch Doctor instead of Silence, so the lane against Brood would be better, but then they don't have the Ember counter, which is Silencer, so it's kind of like a trade-off. You can have deal with Ember. I still feel like when you get to that late game, Ember's going to have a BKB to get out of the Silence, so at any and all stages of the game, things are looking pretty good for Empire. The laning stage is dominant, and then by the time the blink stuns come online for Centaur, Ember's got items coming up.
So I guess they're trying to dodge the matchup. Looks like Trixie will be headed bottom.
On the Centaur. So we'll be safe lane Centaur. He needs support though. He still can't solo this. At least I'm pretty certain Brood crushes Centaur 1v1.
I'm trying to theory craft here what you could do. Just get like the early return points, but...
One value point in return. You got like a 1-2-1 build, or basically 1 point in stun, 1 in return, and max double edge.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a struggle. I don't think Centaur easily farms Blink against that.
You get Tranquil Boots. They're probably cancelled more often than not, so...
Undying Necro offlane is really annoying, and that's where I think Silencer can just be the zoning support at bottom. And Silencer does have a single sentry, so it seems that may be the case.
Alright, so Empire now getting ready for the rune spawn. Looks like Nemphy wants to grab his own as well.
Runs bottom. This is... it's happening.
Necrophos going for the YOLO rune, but Silent will be there to greet him on the slithering snake man.
And he's not going to go for it. He knows he can't contest the crush, and his team secured the bottom one.
When are they going to remodel Slardar, do you think? He is an ugly mother.
I just love how much everyone complains about it. I hope it never gets changed. I hope every hero in the game receives a remodel. Arcanas. Every hero in the game has an Arcana except Slardar, and Slardar has yet to receive remodel. Just imagine the daily Reddit
Should they make him even lower polygon? Just 4 big blocks, 2 for the tail and 1 for the head, 1 for the body.
Remodel the little lantern on his head as an actual lamp. There was some guy who did a shitty cosplay of Slardar and had a lamp just coming off of his head. It looked fantastic. I think you should add that to the game.
Uh-oh. Bogey. He doesn't have help here, guys. This could be trouble for him off the bat. Needs to dodge this lead stun. Fails to do so. The crush follows up. Bogey gonna make a quick boogie back to the fountain, it looks like. Has the sound. Doesn't matter. Aloha Dance deletes him with that final stun, and the offlane Necro left alone, not respecting the Empire dual lane.
Yeah, the supports only now rock up because they were contesting bot rune, and it is a full 1v1 for Trixie. I'm hopefully going to be proven
Meanwhile,
wrong.
mid lane, Yoku just going in on Nemphy, almost solo killing him here.
Yeah.
At level 2, that was not expected.
Nemphy going for a greedy build, which you saw SFs do a lot against the old Leshrax, where you rush bottle, which is a build I don't think you need to do against an Ember Spirit. I feel like you're much better off going for like a Wraith Band Tango pull and then even bringing out the Salve for yourself, because you don't need the really fast bottle against Ember Spirit. This is a matchup where SF does fine. Against the tough spammer matchups, that's where you want to rush a bottle.
So we are going to see that Crystal Maiden started in the jungle, now making her way into the top lane. So now, gods, you've got a full try-on-try matchup here. Empire, kind of your more classic tri-lane with a lot of lockdown and chain nukes. On the side of Stark, the sustain lane, the slow but steady whittle you down type lane. Do you favor either, assuming they stick to this 3v3 matchup?
I think I favor Empire. They've already got the early first blood advantage, so that's a good chunk of gold and boots going Lena's way. And they've also got the Brilliance Aura from CM, so they're going to just have a few more nukes to throw out constantly. Silent's not going to have mana problems with the Crush. He's got a Magic 6, so he can throw nukes very freely here, so I think I definitely favor Empire, not to mention just, I guess the one thing Stark can do is use this full camp that's available, although for now it's not going to get them a whole lot with just 2 little Wild Wing babies.
Leave the babies alone.
Mama's already abandoned them.
Infanticide. They're slaughtering the children, gods. What's gone wrong in the world of Dota 2? Even the younglings have been brought into battle. And down they will go.
I wonder even if CM stays top. I feel like it's a lane where you can just give... Like, Slaughter doesn't need to free farm. That's the other thing here. They don't have to win top lane. If they can just get Slaughter levels and a few CS, that to me is a good result for Empire. I'd almost rather see CM smoke gank mid, gank bottom. SF very vulnerable to ganks. That was always like the big talking point whenever you saw SFs get picked when the hero wasn't like a top pick. It was like, oh, he's not picked because he's so easy to gank. Similarly, center in the bottom lane with 1 CM rotation, you're looking at quite likely a kill with the help of Brood. So I feel like CM can actually be most useful in other lanes right now.
She does start off top, but then no fear backing off. Will smoke and swing on towards mid. Nemphy doesn't currently have any mana available. While that was happening, the Brood just exchanging blows with Trixie, who has completed his Tranquil Boots, so Trixie actually doing decently here. Silent will take a bit of harass, and they want to prep for this jump on Nemphy. No point in Sleight of Fist here. Ember about to clip level 5. CM will wrap around the other direction. Still has some smoke time, but Nemphy close to revealing this.
He wants the 4-minute rune, and
he will get caught, but there's no backup. And while this is happening, Slaughter also rushing in to try and grab it. The Shadow Fiend will grab the rune, turns on to No Fear. You can't run away or he's going to raise you and tries to get the range for it, but the full 3-hero rotation comes in, and Nemphy will get poked down in the end. So they end up losing their Shadow Fiend mid. While that's going on, in the bottom lane, Trixie, although he's doing well here, is starting to feel the pain a bit as Broodmother continuously harasses, looking for the potential kill, has a web, does have a soul ring, could dive this, and Trixie in danger. Back me up, help me friends, help me, I need a little more. The Spider Lady's coming, she's not very nice. One more poke, oh, looks like he may make it out even salving. The Spider Lady slowly gonna worm their way after him. Kill the spiders. Yeah. Alright, he'll make it back. Lane already looking pretty good and does in the end manage to cancel that salve.
Did lose a couple important webs there, so he's now got webs behind the tower and not in the lane. Like, he's lost some of his connections, but he can fix that at level 6 when he gets another point. And Trixie healed back up. He got the full salve regen, so it was a big commitment from Brood, and when you don't get the kill, you've now got your webs on cooldown, you've lost your Spiderling army. He kind of has to reset as far as the lane is concerned, so that's at least a bit of a win for Trixie.
Yeah, he's CSing well, killing off some extra Spiderlings to amplify his net worth. As on the top lane, Silent takes the Curse of the Silent, and we'll back off and up as soon as I move my camera. Crystal Maiden swings in bottom lane, and well, now the lane is officially won here for Resolution.
Mid lane, meanwhile, Yoku's gone in and brings down SF. Got a Searing Chains and then just triple Fire Remnant for the kill.
Okay, and even forces out TP to boot, so a big win here around the board for Team Empire. Now leading 4-0, and it wasn't the laning setup we expected, gods, and they are farming well on their cores here, but it looks like this bottom tower is going to be receiving a lot more pressure as Resolution starts to backstab the creep wave, has clipped level 6, does have that 3rd point in the webs now. Starting to get more aggressive around the map.
Yeah. And again, I feel like the big thing is just the CM being able to rotate to this bottom lane and go for those kind of kills here. Trixie, while he can match up decently and take out Spiderlings by himself, if there's a CM there with the lockdown, with the Nova slow, you're looking at kills on Trixie time and time again.
Both teams kind of fencing back and forth here. Out goes the double stun combo. Empire trying to get aggressive on top. But tough to finish off the zombie.
And the important thing is they know there's no real TP rotations to protect Trixie. Who actually can TP in to help him out? And it feels like no one really able to. The Undying's no HP, no mana from the tri-lane at top, so his TP unavailable. Silencer just TP'd mid and also just isn't a counter ganker anyway, so it's very much just Trixie on his own. This isn't even a moment like where it's like, oh, there should be TP support. There's no one who actually can.
To try and TP out.
Oh, it's on cooldown.
Oh, he can't. Trixie, run, man, run! Surrounded by spiders. Tries to at least get some gold. He does.
He's top CS, you know.
That will cost him his life.
Top CS, 6th on net worth.
They are farming pretty well here, but not well enough, it seems.
Yeah, the CS very misleading against a Brood too.
Yeah, the other lanes are farming well, but even then, it's just too many kills. Empire leading 5-0. At this point, you know, tower likely to go down here fairly soon, gods. With the Brood about to get her ultimate, at which point she can man fight much more easily. It does feel like Stark are going to face some real added pressure over the next few minutes.
Absolutely, and it's just been the constant sustain. Ember and Brood with the CM aura just that much harder to deal with, and this is now a level 8 Brood, so maxed out webs and spiderlings. Another TP bomb for Trixie, but he still has the same issue. Who actually TPs him to help him? This time Undying is backing him up and has a TP, not that he'll need to, but...
Maybe they can kill that pesky little Crystal Maiden at the very least, but...
Trixie may just die here as well if he's not careful.
There's the Midas for resolution. Continues to accelerate his farm and net worth as he surges into the lead up there with the Ember Spirit. They bait up the Tombstone. It's zombie on spider action, but the spiders just scurry away, and without a sentry, no chance of killing them. In fact, even building a larger army here, they may make their move on the Tombstone any moment.
Yeah, if not, just wait for it to expire and then re-engage / just take over the Radiant jungle. You don't need to find this kill. Trixie's already been taken out a few times recently. You know that Blink Dagger is still a far away.
And even once they get it, there's still so many ways to dodge out of these dangerous situations.
Going in on Valix at bottom.
Well, they do make their move forward. Valix stampeded back, but with one more nuke, the Mama might be able to secure an additional kill, but well, in the end, it's Nymphy who brings down the Crystal Maiden on the backside of that fight. Does end up just barely escaping the Undying Will. Nice rotation there. Still, your Shadow Fiend all over the map, and they pop a sentry. What they go in with the Brood, the double remnant forward, finishing her, and or him, and even spawning an additional round of spiderlings.
I think that was Resolution Sentry Ward from minute 0 that he still had. He's just like, oh, I've actually got a Sentry Ward.
Because the Centaur, I don't think he ever had a sentry until this dive bottom happened.
He had a sentry, he just wasn't using it in the 1v1 because he didn't seem to need it as far as dealing with the Brood alone.
Yeah, his issue wasn't seeing the Brood, it was the ganks.
Ooh, that's
Speaking of which, Resolution, not quite level 9 yet, or he could just man mode this, but...
Dang.
Trixie getting away with a lot of damage there.
Yeah, gets him another 100 gold or so. Some stat pad onto his CS, but still very much a pretty dire position for Stark to be in with the slow start. And just a CM kill that they got out of that big rotation from Shadow Fiend 2 then went on to die, so by no means a good trade for them.
See Yoku start to occupy this Radiant jungle, incidentally. He's getting more aggressive, wants to slow down the Shadow Friends farm, it looks like, and maybe find a kill while he's in the neighborhood. He does scout out Valix, immediately goes in with the chains combo, has the drums charge as well, and Valix, well, he's dead. And you pick Silencer to counter this Ember Gods, but no global yet, so they don't have the easy solutions. They'll try to fight him. Raise number 1 off the mark, still Yoku continues to scurry away, drum charge activated. He's just gonna bring around towards the bottom lane, and this is only distracting Stark while the real action's top lane, and they will make their jump forward onto OKC with the Crystal Maiden initiation, follow up onto Boogie. The amp damage doing a lot here, and they'll get 1 kill looking for the second. Stampede a bit late. They will get the Crystal Maiden out, but Valix also being pursued. They continue pursuit, and while that's happening, also making the go on to bottom lane where Trixie will get caught out. He's down as well. Into the trees goes No Fear, but he pops the ultimate, and there's no way to cancel this for the Dynasite. The raw auto attack damage, and he won't get it off in time. Valix going down, 4 heroes slaughtered around the map, and Silent looking to make it a clean 5-man wipe onto Nymphy now, trying for the Requiem, maybe able to get the Silent kill, running in, gets the raise as well, but Lina continues to engage with the stun. Can Nymphy do it alone? The 1-man wrecking crew here, and they're respawning. That's just how low level these heroes are. They'll lose Nymphy. It's a full 5-man wipe. Even if they get a low dance, they get him, but not through the ultimate, so they won't get the plus 30 death timer, and then Yoku just scurries away. And oh, by the way, there's a broodmother in this game. Did we mention there's a broodmother in this game? God, there's a broodmother in this game.
There's a broodmother in this game, LD.
There's a broodmother in this game, and there's no solution for the broodmother. And well,
this is not an itsy bitsy
it's not
problem.
looking very good. This is a what's the opposite of an itsy bitsy?
Ginormous. I don't know.
Ginormous. Ginormous. I don't. Creativity is lacking here, man. I expected more out of you.
I like ginormous. It's a good word.
It is, but you need to have like you gotta have the same rhythm words.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Like itsy bitsy. It's like ginormous, something-ormous. I don't know. Ginormous. There's not that word doesn't work. You can't rhyme it.
Doesn't fit the same schematic.
Disappointing.
I'm not a poet.
Well, apparently I am. Think you stupid. Little ball. Nempi! Oh, don't tell me this is a solo kill. The Remnant comes in. Yoku! Nice snag there, Nempi.
It's not a solo kill, LD.
But it's still
a kill.
This is before the Brood even gets into the fight. Lina turning, getting off the nice stun. But not enough follow-up for this. Ember will scurry away. They lose their Lina, but hey, well worth it.
The old 5-hero rotation, and you just get a support.
Yeah, this is definitely one that Stark's gonna sit down, and even if they somehow miraculously make a comeback and say, we gotta be careful about brood ambushes and traps, because resolution has just been a massive problem for the team. Now they're gonna find 2 more. Boogie caught out as well, just getting run over here. Really, Starkar, not the cleanest debut for the new logo, the new brand. Remnant came forward and will dodge away from Trixie's attempted hoof stomp. Yoku just toying with his food. Mr. BT's available. Double edge, still no stun. The hoof stomp, very long cooldown on that.
Yeah.
Compared to something like, say, a Lina Light Strike Array.
Well, Yoku's showing he can play the mid lane.
And they even committed a Boogie buyback for this. He's just bought back.
Oh, what?
TP to the tier 3 and is running down the top lane.
That's odd.
Maybe he thought he could kill the Ember.
Yeah, he's got a blink stun. What? Centaur? Oh, I guess he didn't have vision of Silent. I was just waiting for a blink stun and a Reaper kill. I'm like, okay, then the buyback's made itself worthwhile, but...
At least potentially.
Not happen.
Well, that was going on. Nempi, he unloaded the Requiem, but it's an underwhelming Requiem. Yoku! Trixie was there to punish. Remnant, no, he's gonna dodge! Oh, don't tell me this man lives again, and while that's happening, OKC also trapped out. Aloha Dance will finish him off. And Yoku just scurries away. He's almost used up his drum charge, the opposite of what you'd expect from Black. Necrophos ultimate is there, though. They get the plus 30 death timer out. And CM lets out an underwhelming freezing field here in the tree line. The Broodmother just split pushing. They're going to lose Aloha Dance as well. This will be another big takedown for Stark.
Okay.
And this time not giving up objectives, though they are giving up farm.
Yeah.
As the Brood continues to advance. Now a 3k gold advantage on anybody in the game.
Yeah, that was a bit better from Stark, and it was very much just the overextension from Ember Spirit in the mid lane. Yeah, he gets away initially, but he just runs himself into a corner. And the fact he ran towards his team kind of messed them up as well, because his team's saying like, oh, we've got this 50 HP Ember here, we've got to kind of protect him and fight with him.
When really they probably should have been running away.
Yeah, they should just backed off. Ember could have juked maybe to the south and just gone like underneath that big cliff or somewhere near the Radiant base. There was many other places he could have gone to juke, but... Oh wow.
Oh hey, suddenly a gigantic army of death spiders in my lane. Yeah.
And they can Roche anytime they want with Vlad's Brood level 13. Easy Roche for resolution if he wants to go for that anytime soon.
Yeah, he'll continue infesting this jungle, and truly it is a full-blown infestation as they complement the Brood's webs with a network of wards as well. Dire vision, just extensive gods. They see currently one hero bottom, but they pretty much know everybody else is really far back. As Boogie initially clipped here by a chains, the follow-up nukes coming through, and yep, the pressure was there. So into the pit they shall go. BKB about to come out for resolution, and Aegis will be the next grab as Empire extend their advantage and continue to make this game look very easy.
Yeah, Silent has his blink money, so a bit of a quiet game from Silent, and it's kind of natural. He was against the rough lane of the Necro Undying, even the tri-lane for the majority of the laning stage with Silencer there, so he's kind of playing more of that kind of off-laner type role with all the pressure that's been coming his way.
Stark, they're trying to force the team fight here. Trixie, fairly durable, courtesy of the mech. The Undying Heal comes out, but they see the Tombstone and they just say, great, we're gonna back off, and they even blew the global for this. And now in comes the Ember Spirit. Yoku chains onto Boogie. Zombies slowly dying. They're threatening a Requiem. And from the side, in comes the Brood. It's a 3-hero crush, beautifully done by Silent to set everything up. Hey, he might not have had a lot of farm, but he's having a big impact anyway. And now the Spider cometh. No solution, just poke, dead, easy dive. That's without the BKB, and they continue pursuit. They'll let the last two heroes survive for now, but...
Using the global and Tombstone and then just running, you're screwed because there's such good chase from Empire. Sprint, Blink on the Slider, Brood with the web movement speed, and then Ember with Fire Remnants. You can't run away, apart from the Centaur, and in that case he's ditching his teammates, so he's going to stick around and try and stand by them as they back off. They back off as 5 grouped up, which is kind of the right move in that scenario, but Yoku just was unafraid as he chased. With an Aegis in hand, he knows that even if they chain stun and burst him down, use a Reaper, it's a one fight because he's got the Aegis and he won't even die a second time.
BKB now delivered, and you do have to really worry for Stark here, guys, because they don't even have solutions for BKB. What do they really have? You've got only the stun from the Necrophos ult and global to even slightly bother the Brood, but that's it. Oh, okay, see ya. Maybe he actually has to pop the BKB here, though. Memphis tries to man-fight it out. They're sending the entire team on top of Resolution. 5 heroes committed just to try to bring down the Spider. No backup in sight until Yoku arrives. Necrophos ult not doing anything here. It's Resolution still with the BKB going. He's going to scurry away.
Run.
The heal is following. No Resolution. Can he reach him up and up in the webs? Tries to get away, keeps on scurrying back, he will survive! And then the Ember Spirit just walks away. Oh my goodness. Jesus. That is pain and suffering.
The Spider's got some legs on him. And that was, yeah, that just summarizes Stark and their
even if they
ability of dealing with
it's
Brood.
5 heroes chasing the Brood around the map while everybody else is just doing whatever the hell they please, and Yoku pleases on running in mid lane, gets off the 2-hero chains, and yet just got casual drive-by run through your team, and I'll just keep on pacing back, because guess what? You don't have a global silence available right now, and that's my chance to just run in.
They blink, stun, and global, and can't kill a CM. That's a bit sad.
Yeah, it's
very unfortunate.
Excruciating.
Brood's not even there. It's 5v4. They blink, stun, they global, and yeah, they're back. So Brood's going to push out the bottom lane. He's probably just signaling his team like, just stick around top. I'll create some space and farm up the enemy jungle, farm out the bottom lane, and then you guys can just look to break on through.
Broodmother closing in on doubling up the enemy Shadow Fiend, who had a good start, God, but elsewhere, Boogie tanking that Crystal Maiden ultimate. Maybe the Centaur can turn it around. No Slider there for the counter stun. The next level plays coming out from Silent as he engages onto Trixie, finished off by the Crystal Maiden in a rage. Maybe gonna look for more here. No, he'll back away. So it ends up just being Trixie down, but Tombstone committed. Global on cooldown.
Yule's Ember?
The troll items come out.
Yeah, that's a troll item.
Yoku.
Yeah, you can dispel the global silence, but...
This is the...
You know what else can? The BKB.
I can do whatever I want to you, and you can't stop me.
Yeah. He wants the movement speed, I think. I think he had so much fun with the Travels drums, just like bursting himself around. He's like, more movement speed. Let's go. Gets a Yule's.
Well, Silent takes a wee bit of damage here, but the Glimmer Cape stick combo keeps him alive, and now... The Brood just runs in, pokes down the Shadow Fiend, so much physical damage. Next on the list will be your Silencer. No global available anyway, so he's basically just a range creep. Who really cares if he dies? Resolution Deso picked up, doesn't actually have it on the hero though. It will be flown out now. They will try desperately dying on here. Can they do anything? No! Silences crush in your face. 3 heroes caught out. Tombstone just being ignored throughout this fight. Now will be finished off in Empire. The chase commenceth. In goes Yoku, getting even more aggressive. The mech trying to keep heroes alive. Doesn't matter. Follow-up crush from Silent. Dive in even further. Stark just getting pump stomped here in game number 2. 28-6, the final score. Just feels like totally outdrafted this game.
Yep, they had 0 for the Brood, and that's the second pick Brood. In the past, if a team would 4th pick Brood and you only had that 5th pick to deal with it, it'd be like, well, it was a 4th pick Brood. But when it's a 2nd pick Brood, I feel like you can't get crushed this badly. Like,
maybe that's where you don't want to show your Silencer pick.